America is a fantastic place to live, but the average American's work life can be pretty intense. U.S. employees often work long hours and live paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because even though the average salary is high compared to other countries, the cost of living is also elevated, meaning people's money doesn't stretch as far. Too many people get stuck in the rat race. But what if I told you that you could have the best of both worlds? What if you could get paid a U.S. salary while living in a different, cheaper country? If you don't think it's possible, I can tell you that it is because I've done it. And you could too. All you need to do is to keep watching to discover how to escape the rat race and become your very own modern backpacker. First, let me tell you my story. When I was living and working in the States, I would drive through I-35 traffic for an hour each way to and from my job in downtown Austin. Most days, I would find myself sitting in the parking lot before work, thinking about life somewhere exotic like Bali, and wondering why I couldn't just work there as a digital nomad, reaping the rewards of my current job while avoiding all the stresses and boredom of daily office life. I was tired of the regular routine in America, the 10-hour workdays followed by happy hour sessions with my colleagues. I hated waking up depressed, dreading seeing those same coworkers who just complained about everything in life. I didn't want to be stuck like they were. I needed a way out. Thankfully, I was given a lifeline in 2020, ironically due to COVID. My company told us that we could work from home indefinitely starting from March that year. By the time July came, I had already come up with my plan. I wanted to secretly move abroad but continue earning American dollars. At first, I thought about moving to a cool country like Brazil or Argentina, but that would have been too much of a risk. What if my boss suddenly asked me to come into the office in Austin, Texas the next day? It would be way too difficult to get there at such short notice, and the dream would be over. So I put in a lot of research and eventually settled on moving to the closest major city to Austin that wasn't in America. It was Monterrey in Mexico. Admittedly, this was also a huge risk for me as I didn't know how to speak Spanish. I would be leaving behind close friends and had no idea how I would make new ones. All I can say is, I'm glad I made the leap and I haven't looked back since. Only my closest, most trusted friends knew that I had left America. So when we did have the occasional status meeting, I would need to create a cover story when the inevitable question of how was y'all's weekend was put to the floor. I would concoct a story about how I'd tried out a new restaurant in Austin when in reality I was chomping down delicious street tacos in Mexico. It was definitely difficult and a little awkward at times, but I can't say I regret making the move. There are so many benefits to living in Mexico while receiving a salary from the US. For starters, the cost of living in Mexico is, on average, 44.5% lower than in the United States. Whereas the average Mexican worker earns just over $23,000 annually, the average American rakes in almost $60,000 a year. However, the average cost of living in Mexico is about 4 to 5 times less than in the United States. Living in Monterrey, the cost of living is a bit higher than Mexico's national average, but the amount I'm able to save because of my American salary is definitely worth it. My expenses back in the States would easily be around $4,000 per month, and currently they're around $2,500. That's a big difference. And bear in mind that I chose to live in one of the most expensive cities in Mexico. My girlfriend and I plan to get married next year, and we're actually planning to move to a cheaper city where our expenses should come to around $2,000 a month. That'll be half of what we were spending in America, meaning we can save and invest up to $2,000 per month. After 3 years of living here in Mexico, I have learned to speak basic Spanish, and I have a much healthier work-life balance. Though I haven't escaped the need to work entirely yet, I feel like I've escaped the rat race because I'm a digital nomad who can enjoy the weekends by climbing a beautiful mountain in Monterrey if I want to. I'm able to unplug from the corporate machine and it feels amazing. Living not too far from the border, I can still make it into the office if called upon, but the ability to work from home in a country with much lower rent, groceries, dining out costs, and public transport means I'm saving a fortune in the long run. What's more, the money and time I'm saving are already being put towards generating passive income and increasing my wealth. The plan is to enjoy the prime of my life and be able to retire early, and so far it's working better than I'd ever imagined. Now let's talk about things you could invest your money on. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. My favorite digital asset to invest in right now is Bitcoin. This is because the whole world is waiting for a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, or ETF, to be launched with one of the best hedge fund managers in the world, BlackRock. When you open an ETF, you have to buy the underlying asset, so if the BlackRock ETF gets approved, there will be a tremendous amount of buying power on Bitcoin, thus increasing its price. Many experts agree that if giants like BlackRock come into the picture, with access to $30 trillion in capital, it could lead to a seismic shift in the cryptocurrency space. And for me personally, that would mean a lot of profit and early retirement. Some companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla already own a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So when the Bitcoin ETF launches over the next few months, it will only continue to get stronger. There are plenty of other strategies though, all with varying levels of risk when it comes to investing and increasing your net worth. Imagine that you had an extra $1,500 to $2,000 of income. How would you invest it? The sad fact is that the money you have right now, or even the money you earn in the next few years, could be worth a fraction of its current value by the time you are ready to retire. We're already seeing many people having to work well into their old age because the money they earned and saved years ago simply doesn't stretch that far today. That's why investing in tangible assets, whose value rises with the times, is a far better option than simply sitting on your earnings. Many currencies which are used today, such as the US dollar, British pound, and other paper currencies, have already decreased substantially in value since their introduction because of inflation. So it's better to invest in the stock market. While it does involve some level of risk, with a good strategy and varied portfolio, it could be very profitable and worthwhile. A stock represents part ownership of a company or corporation. If you own stock, then you are entitled to a portion of that company's assets or profits, equal to how much stock you own. That's why investing in a strong firm with a profitable outlook like Tesla is a good plan. Tesla has experienced rapid revenue and market share growth in the electric vehicle industry. The global transition to electric vehicles could present significant growth opportunities for the company. It has a strong and recognizable brand that is associated with clean energy, sustainability, and cutting-edge technology. This brand recognition can be a competitive advantage. Tesla also has a passionate and loyal investor base, which can contribute to stock price resilience and long-term support. Alternatively, investing in gold can be a viable option for some people. It often moves independently of stocks and bonds, which means it can act as a hedge against economic uncertainties or stock market volatility. Remember, diversifying your portfolio can help reduce the overall risk. Gold has been considered a store of value for centuries. It has intrinsic value and is not subject to inflation in the same way that fiat currencies are. During times of economic instability, investors may flock to gold as a safe haven asset. The price of gold can fluctuate significantly in the short term, though. The good news is that it's a highly liquid asset, meaning it can be bought and sold easily in the form of physical gold, coins, or bars, or through various financial instruments like gold ETFs or futures contracts. Economic conditions, inflation rates, and geopolitical events can all impact the price of gold. It's essential to stay informed about these factors if you're considering gold investments. The point is, $2,000 is a lot of money to invest per month, and you want to build a diverse portfolio focused on growth in order to turn a profit quickly and escape the rat race as soon as possible. Sure, I've managed to escape to Mexico, but I still have to answer to my boss and meet work deadlines. I want to be completely free, and a solid investment plan with high potential returns is going to allow me to do that. On the whole, though, I much prefer the life I'm living now to when I lived in the US. The American lifestyle revolves largely around the workplace and earning money, whereas in Mexico there is a different culture, one that's much more relaxed and enjoyable. I am very excited that I can achieve my goal faster here, because no matter what country you live in, the secret to retiring early is how much of your paycheck you can save month after month. Don't get me wrong, living in America has its perks, but which would you rather? Working tirelessly your whole life and slowly working towards retirement at an old age, or living outside of the US and saving faster for an early retirement so you can enjoy your luxury yacht and travel the rest of the world while you're still young? Many American companies now offer remote work options, allowing employees to work from locations outside the US, so long as you're able to demonstrate a high level of self-discipline, professionalism, and accountability. You too can take advantage of these opportunities and use it as a foundation to build on. Stick with it for a few years while pursuing additional streams of income, and you'll be ready to retire in no time. For a more complete breakdown of my current living situation, plus some useful information about living in Mexico while working for an American company, check out some of the other videos on this channel. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to continue your journey, and one day you too can become a modern backpacker by escaping the American rat race.